Anyone that seeks to put themselves back underneath the law, I mean, even if it's the Ten Commandments, to be justified, to be made righteous, you set aside, you've frustrated the grace of God, where it's of no effect in your life to give you power for obedience to God. I mean, this is what Paul is describing through his letters. I mean, does it do, as he said in Romans, what was it? Romans chapter 3, where he says, do we void the law through faith? God forbid. And we establish it. But how do we establish it? Because we don't put ourselves back under it, because that's sin's strength. He describes it in Romans chapter 7. I had not known sin but by the commandment, or sin by the commandment might become exceedingly sinful. That's why he's saying in Romans 3:20, no flesh shall be justified, made righteous by the works of the law, for by the law is the knowledge of sin, the consciousness of sin, to know sin. I mean, but it doesn't excuse us to do whatever we will. But I mean, look how he describes it in 1 Corinthians 6:12 and 10:23, when he says, all things are lawful for me, but all things don't work together for my good. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any, in 6:12. I mean, this is what he's trying to describe also in 2 Corinthians 13, verse 7 and 8. We don't do what's right to appear approved, as the law does. It's just an outward appearance. He says, for we have no power over the truth, but for the truth, because that's what we are born of. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6. And we are born of him in water baptism. So, I mean, we've got to understand, I mean, we're just whatsoever is not of faith is sin, Romans 14:23. It's as James says, 4:7 or 4:17, that he that knows the good to do and doesn't do it, to him it is sin. But Paul's going further when he says, whatsoever is not of faith is sin, because we don't do anything outside of our conscience. If we do something and our conscience condemns us, we don't continue in that. This is what he's trying to describe in Ephesians chapter 5. Not having fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reproving them, exposing them. For what manifests all things is the light, meaning to bring it to light, to expose it. I mean, we've got to understand, we've been begotten of an incorruptible seed, not a corruptible seed as in the first man, Adam. We're just walking in the new nature that God gave us.